YouTube, it's Cuisine and Love for a new recipe today. We are going to visit France one more time, the eastern part, with a huge symbol of the country, of the French cuisine, la Quiche Lorraine. Quiche Lorraine, it's huge all over the world, and today I'm going to show you how to make it from scratch. We won't buy anything is homemade, fait maison. Really exciting. Let's get started. The first step will be the dough, the longest one. We'll need 5 ingredients. The butter, room temperature, make sure it's soft, otherwise it won't be possible to make the dough. The flour, the salt, egg yolk, and a little bit of water. The water is just there. I almost lost it. There we go. The machine, if you don't have a machine, you can use the hand as well for one pie. If you have 6 pies to do, of course, it's better if you have a machine. So pay attention how we're gonna do it. It's easy. C'est prêt. There you go, it's ready now. So we have a nice dough. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna work it a little bit with my hands. And it's just gonna go for a rest. At least 30 minutes in the fridge to make sure that, you know, the starch has time to settle down. Otherwise it's gonna be super elastic. So 30 minutes in the fridge, I'm just gonna show you how to work it with your hands. So I put a little bit of flour and just work it a little, get the temperature of my body on it. It's gonna be much smoother. There we go. And now, I'm just gonna put it in the oven, in the fridge, sorry. Not yet in the oven. So, as you can see, the color is a little different. I'm using a whole flour, that's why. If you have a whole purpose flour, your dough is gonna be white. I have a whole flour, so it's a little brown. So don't worry about that. Let's get some rest in the fridge. Nice, 30 minutes out. Now it's time to use the rolling pin on it. We're gonna spray it out nicely. It's fresh, it's good. A little bit of flour. So use your rolling pin. Same, always put a little flour to make sure it doesn't stick. Here you go. Right, so now I get my pie. I'm just gonna use a fork and make some holes into it to make sure that it doesn't proof too much, because we want the pie to remain flat, if I can say. And on top of that, I'm gonna use parchment paper. So as you can see, my pie is a circle and this is a rectangle. So the best way to get the perfect shape is you fold, huh? One, like this. You fold another time like that. And after, I have a corner here. I'm just gonna fold like if I was making a cornet. There we go, that way. I'm gonna go from the tip to the edges of the pie. It has to be half of it, so the center. So that's what I want. I keep my thumb on it and I'm just gonna cut it like this. There we go. So I have this little cornet. And after, I'm just gonna have this guy in it like this. Once I have my paper, I'm using dry garbanzo. You can use dry peas, rice as well, anything dry. No pasta, it's not heavy enough. And just add it in it like this. I keep this nice shape, you see? There we go, add a little more. Make sure I have a nice pie. That's gonna be for the pre-cooking, because we're gonna cook it twice. So that's for the pre-cooking, to make sure that the dough is cooked before we had the onions and the lardon and the custard and everything. Sounds good. So now, let's bake it. We're gonna bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. Let's go. C'est parti. 15 minutes. While the dough is cooking, we're gonna start the filling. So the onions will be the first step. Simply, we're just gonna cut them super thin. So once I got my onions cut, the lardon, most of the time you already get them cut. So it's time to start. We're just gonna spread the onions in a pot with a little bit of oil, salt, pepper for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'm gonna add the lardon into the pot, cook for another 20 minutes. Make sure you season it, it's really important. And that's about it. So now I can see it's firm. So we got the pre-cooking done. It's time to put it out. So when you pre-cooking for the pie, you can put the garbanzo or your rice or whatever you use where it belongs. You can use them normally, you know? It's a dry vegetable, dry fruits, dry vegetables. You can reuse them without any problem. So now we got the pre-cooking. So as you can see, it's not all the way cooked. You can see some part here that's still raw. That's what we want. So now it's gonna be time to garnish. But before that, we'll go and do the custard. Second part of the cooking, try the seasoning of the onions and the lardon. And the second step would be to put the garnishes into the pie in that way. And we're just gonna put in the oven for about 8 minutes, 350 Fahrenheit. We're gonna cook the dough with the onions and the lardon to just take off some humidity of the onions and the lardon. Like that, the bottom of my pie is not wet and moisture. It will be most likely after to break. We want something firm underneath to be able to cut it and it had nice pieces. So let's put them in the oven for 8 minutes. So the first step for the custard is crack my eggs in a bowl. So I got 2. 2 eggs. Perfect. I'm gonna put some salt, about 2 pinches. One pinch per egg, and a bit of pepper. There you go. And my milk. There we go. I'm gonna use a whisk and simply whip it until I get something smooth. I broke the eggs with the milk, well seasoned. And that's it. Okay, time for the custard now. Oh, c'est chaud. There you go. So after 8 minutes we start getting some coloration on the edges. And now you have the custard. Don't put too much because it's gonna puff. Otherwise it's gonna go all over your oven. There you go. Voila. And now let's put it back in the oven. Alright, c'est bon. So as you can see, in the middle is firm. You don't see anything liquid. So when you put your hands, you can feel it. It means it's ready to go. Et voila. Perfect. There is tradition here. So now it's time to take the mold off. We'll see if he works. Hopefully I won't mess everything. So it's hot. Let's have a look. There we go, perfect. And I'm just gonna put the guy here on a cutting board. Let it cool down a little bit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's better when it's warm, like room temperature. When it's too hot, you don't get the same flavors. Serve it with a nice green salad. It's just amazing. Very, very happy to have shared this recipe with you guys. Hopefully you'll like it. Let us know if you do so. We'll throw some more recipes in the next following days and next following weeks and month, hopefully. So it's been a pleasure and see you for the next recipe. Au revoir, merci et bon appétit.